Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me are the owners and co-founders of Headsup Hockey. This is a new, innovative, high-tech AI invention that you guys have worked together to bring to the table to help those, try to improve their game. You've got some pretty major players checking out your product here, and one being John Shibo. I believe he's with Black Ice, if I'm not mistaken, this year. So he's always been with Black Ice. But yeah, so I think this is going to be a pretty cool and training tool for those coming up. For the younger guys.
Totally. We're super excited about it. We think it has huge potential for training. And we're also really excited about just like the gamified aspect. We think that there's a huge opportunity to create, a better hockey training tool and bring hockey training tools into the digital age. So we're super excited.
Yeah. Now, Mike is on the left of your screen. Oliver's in the right, is right in the center of your screen. And boys, again, tell us a little bit about Headsup Hockey, what it means to you guys, because your story is a little bit unique. I don't think either one of you really played hockey growing up, right?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Didn't even watch it. Well, I didn't. I don't know if you watched.
I used to watch hockey a lot growing up. My dad and I used to attend like a playoff game every year for my birthday, so I'm a big Caps fan. Shout out the Capitals. Tough year against the New York Rangers, but yes. So we don't really have huge hockey backgrounds. I can kind of give you an overview of how we kind of started the product and what happened. We actually were originally working on I was working on a pickleball project to try to digitize tracking pickleballs and keeping score and all that other stuff. And then we were just working on it. And then we actually had a third partner that was in it, and he was like, this would be really cool for hockey. And so we decided to take our technology and port it over for hockey. He sadly, went a different direction than us, but we kind of had the hockey training tool, and we just kind of kept on working on it. Oliver, I called up Oliver and I was like, we were in class together pretty much. And he was yeah. So we started in college. I don't know if you have more to add to it or.
Yeah, no, it was a fun experience. We met in college, both majoring in computer science. Okay. And we were friends for a while, but then he graduated a year before me, so it was the summer going into my senior year after he graduated. He called me up. Wasn't sure if I was going to see him again. He right. Graduated, he's out of there. But yeah, he called me up and told me about. Originally, as we said, the pickleball product, but I joined on then, and we've stuck through all the different
highs and lows,
projects and things that we've worked on. But yeah, this was definitely the one that stuck the most and had the most promising results, and we are very, very proud of the end result for this one.
Yeah, we had a dance app that we had going for a while.
Yeah, we did have a dance app at one point.
Pickleball app. It's been a little bit of a journey to get here.
Testing the waters on the tech,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So tell us how this technology works, because you definitely need an iPad to use this technology. It's on a stand, points down to the ice level or to the ice or the surface that you're playing on, because it's really multi-surface level. That you can use, which is really cool. And then it tracks just about every puck on the market too, right?
Pretty much. So we're our company is theoretically actually called Vincere Systems, which means to conquer in Latin, and we're a computer vision company. So the whole idea behind computer vision is using computers to see things and process the world the way humans do. So we use the iPad's camera to track the puck. We're hopefully going to come out with an iPhone version pretty soon. And so the way it works is the camera looks at a mirror that's pointed at the ground that allows the camera to see the puck in the play space. And then we use that in order to figure out where the puck is, if it intersects targets. And then we have our own calibration, our algorithm that we've written that allows us to actually determine the real world distance between those targets. So when a target appears on the screen, we can actually figure out how far that is in actual feet. And that allows us to create a lot of hand speed measurements and also track how long it takes you to react to targets.
So is that kind of similar to the technology that they use like in Shark Week when they were diving with the sharks? They had the two lasers pointing at the sharks to kind of figure out the size of the shark species that they're tracking at that time.
I think it's a little bit different because a laser, you're trying to figure out like the distance. I think a good analogy, I'm trying to think of something like I think a good view of computer vision actually is like when you're watching an NHL game. Do you see how like they have all the different names of the players that kind of float around now? So what they actually do, they have I think it's 32 cameras across the whole rink that watch you play. And they train models to be able to determine who's who and track the person between frames. And so it's actually like a machine learning model that knows based on like the different colors of the pixels, like I guess like who's who and a bunch of different characteristics. And so that's like a great example of like computer vision at work is that, because then all the cameras communicate and they're able to in real time show you who has the puck and their name.
Okay. That's actually pretty cool. So tell us, what does the Headsup Hockey training tool, what is its main function? Because you've got about 6 different games on there?
Yeah. So do you want to go into it or do you want me to?
No, you can take it away.
Yeah. So the Headsup Hockey training product. So there's 6 different. Each game mode has sub games in it. So it ends up being around like 54 different kinds of training variants in it. And we're really proud of like how much we've already put into the app as our first launch, our first generation of the product. So I think the main function, to be honest, I think there are 2 functions. I think first of all, every training tool on the market right now, the kid's head is down. So the first thing is you're training your head up, and it's actually a great way to train your heads up, and it allows you to split your vision because you're seeing the puck and you're seeing it on the screen and your stick handling, right? And so you kind of do see a little bit of your stick in the background, but then you also get that great feedback of in real time without a delay. You're seeing the camera, your stick handling, and it creates it's actually a really cool experience for hockey players, is what we've seen. And then I think the second kind of function of it is to make this training fun. Like stick handling isn't that fun. Let's just be real. Like it's cool. It's like quirky, but I think bringing another element of like fun interactivity along with like very high level stats. And we've seen that people from all levels love it. We've seen like a bunch of coaches use it. I was talking to somebody who's an AHL player and he was saying that he loves to use it. We have an ex-NHL player that's going to come on, and we'll talk about that in a second, with Lance Pitlick. He's going to come on and do a bunch of videos for us and trainings on the app. So we're really excited about the app and how it can like really make training fun, stick handling fun. And just, again, like create a lot of gamification, there's a lot of creativity too in the app, which I have to shout out Oliver for. He is kind of like, again, like our creative mind over here. He also designed the box, so he did a great job with that too.
That's awesome. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what those like the 6 main games are, or training tools, and each one has its own sub game structure. But what are the 6 main ones? Because you were sending me messages about it when I first received the product last week.
Yeah, well, we got them here. I know my personal favorite. I think one of our most popular is Survival, which that one like basically targets pop up in waves, and they have a little timer that goes out, and you gotta get to each target before the timer goes out, and it trains both your reaction time as well as able to hit them on time. We also have Whack-A-Mole. That's probably that's probably my personal favorite. I mean, that one's that definitely is a super fun one, but it is still still training you, because I mean we've got a whole grid on there where moles pop up, and you gotta hit them with the puck in the virtual space. So that one's, I know that one's pretty popping as well.
Yeah, so I can just quickly give a quick overview of them. So you have guided trainings, which are like video lessons with some like patterns. So you see a pattern on the screen, and then you do the pattern. And so they're like common like things you do in hockey, like toe drags, and a couple other like around the world and things like that. And then you have Survival, which Oliver mentioned, which is super fun. You have targets that disappear over time. After that, you have Point Frenzy, which is like kind of like Survival, but every time you hit a target, all the targets have timers, and you have different value targets. So that's a lot of like training like the vision and like prioritizing different things that are coming at you. Then there are 3. So those are our 3 like, let's say, practice modes, and then you have your 3 like or competition modes, I think they're called, and then you have your training modes. Those are training. The competition are the other ones. So these are like the competition ones are the more fun game modes, like let me get on the leaderboard kind of stuff. Right. So the one of them that's a favorite, especially for kids, is Whack-A-Mole. It's super fun. There are all these moles that appear. We have Falling Hats, which is, I think that's a great game, because you have all these hats that fall, and then there are speed ups in the game. So if you hit like a lightning bolt, you get more hats. If you hit a freeze ray, the hats freeze, and you're trying to hit as many hats as you can as possible. And then finally, our last training mode is called Buzzer Beater, and coaches actually really like Buzzer Beater because you just have a red line and you're just trying to dribble over it as quickly as possible. And so there's a lot of sub game modes that you can imagine with the guided training. We have like, I think 18 different training variants, so 18 different drills that you can do with the guided training.
That's awesome. Yeah, so now you're not only geared towards the young kids who are trying to learn working on their head, keeping their heads up, but you're also, starting to incorporate some of the veterans and the pros as well. And it sounds like you guys have a great start on that. I think it's going to be an awesome tool. I actually can't wait to check it out myself. Like I said, once I got a hold of Billy, I'm like, Billy, let's check out this product, man. I think this is going to be, it's going to increase the talent level on your team. And he sounds like he's pretty geeked up about it. So it's going to be pretty cool to see. Last year they made it to the state semifinals, where they lost to Detroit Catholic Central. But they had a young team then. Now it's a little bit more mature. Still going to be a younger upperclassmen, so they didn't have a ton of seniors last year. I think they only had like 5 or 6. So to bring in a good core like they have, it's going to be pretty cool, pretty fun to watch.
Totally. No, that's going to be super exciting. I can't wait to get their feedback and see how they like or don't like the product,
Hopefully they like, yeah.
Cool. So what else can you tell us about what you guys are developing for the future? Because it's always great to have something to start, but then you got to build on that. So what are we building towards?
Totally. You want to go for it? Or?
What are we telling them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's a tough decision because a lot of the stuff we want to keep, exciting
under wraps
for the new users. I'll maybe tell you off the podcast. But I think the first thing the first thing I want to say about the app that's really exciting is this is like the first time you have like a training tool that's an app in the hockey space. which is super exciting, which means for us to roll out new features, fix a bug, something happens. Like something that I thought was super cool is like I created a like a custom challenge for like one of our partners is Xenopucks.
Okay.
And they were going to a tournament, and we created like this custom challenge that had like Xenopucks falling and like different Xenopuck paraphernalia and like a leaderboard that's specific just for that. So for us to create new stuff, and that was only so when they logged in, they were the only ones that saw that for that event. And I think that that's what's super exciting about the project is just the ability to customize, to skin everything, to kind of go crazy, and to be able to iterate without having to take everything back and then resell it to everybody, you know. But what's in the works? Let me see. So
in terms of the one thing we probably could say is
what? Oh yeah, iPhone.
Yeah. I mean, we are that's probably
the one
big one that we're working
Another
on.
one that I like we could announce today that just, you know, I actually just kind of closed this deal in person, which we're super excited about, a partnership with us in online hockey training. And that's Lance Pitlick's online hockey training platform. I mean, he's been an amazing like partner for us so far, and we're super excited that we're going to bring some like professional grade training, like an ex NHL player that's going to teach like video lessons and progressions on our app. And like go check out online hockey training if you haven't. He has an amazing online school kind of there. But I don't really want to. I don't know. Should we?
Well, yeah, we probably shouldn't get into that. But I don't think I really
a big surprise of.
I don't think I really said. We just said the word iPhone. But what I mean with that is currently the product does only work on an iPad. But yeah, currently we're trying to. We're in the process of making it functional on just an iPhone as well. It will be a smaller screen, but we know that will allow a lot more people to use it. For anyone that like doesn't have an iPad, it'll probably be a little harder to see things, but we still want to get that out to more users.
And we see also the use cases, people screen sharing it to like a TV or so you can screen share the app.
Yeah.
So we expect to use an iPhone and screen share it to a TV or a Mac. Is kind of our thought.
It just gets it into more users' hands.
Right.
And is it going to be a subscription-based platform as well, or is it just once you buy it, you get all the training aspects of it?
Yeah, so we have both payment options. So if you want to buy into more of a subscription model, we have our subscription model, which is $12.50 a month. We have right now, like the first 3 months are $30, just so we can pay for shipping it out to you and all the hardware that we give you. We would like to eventually bring that down a lot to make it a lot easier for people to try out the app. So that's definitely on deck, but then there's also the subscription option. If you're like, again, if you don't want to put all that money up front and like you want to test out the product, we're super excited because we think once you test it out, you're going to want to keep on using it. So,
Sure.
And then our payment up front is $250 right now. And that gives you like the lifetime on the product pretty much.
Well, that's cool. And then, I was going to had another follow-up question. Hang on, let me think. So tired.
Oh, no worries.
No, that's all good.
Just to elaborate a little bit on like what we're talking about in new features.
I remembered.
Okay.
So, now is it just strictly iPhone only or Apple product only, or are you going to be gearing your way over to the Android market as well?
Right now our app is native. So
yeah, right now it's only Apple.
It's something we'd like to do eventually, but right now we don't see it as making a lot of sense until we get a larger user base. I think, you know, if this thing really blew up, then I'm sure we could figure out a way to get it over to Android. Yeah. Right now it's only iPhone specific and Apple specific. Right now it's iPad specific, but so hopefully it'd be iPhone specific.
Yeah, that'd be soon.
Cool. Well, that I don't have much after that.
No worries.
Yeah, no, that was just one of the things too, is because you have iPhone and Android. I'm an Android user. I've always been an Android user. You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely would be ideal, but yeah, just in terms of the time to rebuild it for Android, yeah, we'll definitely consider it if things go well, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Which hopefully they do. But
Fingers crossed.
regardless, that'll probably still be something slightly more in the further future.
Yeah, I would say that
it's not something that we have lined up as of right now. At
Yeah,
least.
it's not likely to happen probably this year.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Okay, and then you were about to say something too, Mike.
I was just going to say we're really excited about, I don't want to drop too much of the way that we're going to drop this new training sessions, but we have some really, I think we want to bring this training environment into not just like somebody does a video or does a progression and it's really boring. And we're really excited because, we're planning to make that a really gamified and new format. So that's like probably all I can go into that, because I'm really excited to, once we get it a little bit further down the road, we'll definitely announce it and launch it and go crazy with it. I think that will bring the app really to the next level right now, because we think the app is great, but we're trying to figure out a way to build it like a longer, training cycle and progression cycle for the users to use it. So we have a again, our focus is making this really fun and gamified and creative, and something when you use it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like that's, and that's, I think, our strong suit on our team is just like the creativity.
Cool. Now, are there different levels to each game too? Does it get progressively harder the more proficient you become? The faster you can complete a challenge and then work your way up, or?
Yeah, it depends on the game mode. I know like survival just goes on forever, which the waves get more difficult. Whereas there's some that are like, it's just a timer, or like it's like, this is how many targets you have to hit, stuff like that. But I mean, with all those, you're trying to, beat your high score. So in that sense, there's a progression in the sense of like, I got a higher score this time, or my stats are better this time. So in that sense, there's progression in all the games.
Okay.
Cool. And so like for like buzzer beaters, it's a great example. Like you're just dribbling and you're trying to get up to 100%, and you're just trying to do that as quickly as possible. So there doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense to have levels, but like Oliver said, survival is a great example of that, and Point Frenzy also does that. Survival, you have targets that appear on the screen, and then you have targets you have to dodge too. And so you have more X's that appear that like move on the screen that you have to like avoid getting hit by. And then you have to start to hit more timers. So you have like 3, 4, 5 timers, 5 targets on the screen at a time that you have to like dribble to and hit. And again, in survival, you have 3 lives. So the way it works is you have 3 hearts. Every time you lose, a timer runs out, you lose a life. Or if you hit an X, you also lose a life. Okay. So that one, just every level you keep on going up and up and up. It just gets harder and harder, and until it's like ridiculous. So there's a ton of playability there.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. I think you guys are onto something pretty phenomenal. Hopefully it takes off like you guys are hoping that it does. I know I am hoping that it does, because my son, he's only 4. I can definitely see him using this product here in the next couple of years. And then not only that, but then my daughter, she's only 10 months old. I would love to see her being able to use a product like this as well.
We'd love to see them use it. And again, we always say it's the best use of the iPad time, Yeah, exactly. Get better at hockey, use your iPad. And one last thing I would also add is like, if you have, I did talk about the higher level, but the younger level, we added variable play spaces. So you can play in a space that's really large for a larger person and really small for a smaller person. So if you're a younger kid, like even we've seen some 6-year-olds use it, 8-year-olds. I don't know. You'll have to tell us if a 4-year-old can use it and play it. But so the play space does get smaller and larger depending on which one you pick in the app. So you can pick for your kid what's best for you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'll definitely get Lukey on that. He loves to do some stick handling drills and stuff like that. So, because he's always going, Dad, can we go watch some hockey tonight? And I go, there's no hockey on tonight, buddy. He's like, oh, okay. Well, when are you going to sign me up to play hockey, Dad? So
awesome.
the kid's itching, so it'll be pretty cool. Yeah.
No, I hope he has a good time ripping on the app.
He'll love it. He'll love it.
So, is there anything else you guys would like to add on to this episode before we call it quits? Because I've had an amazing time learning about Headsup Hockey. I think it's a great tool to for the younger kids that are just starting out to keep their head up, because what happens when you keep your head down, you get blasted, and nobody wants to see young kids lose that passion to play something that they enjoy because some other kid wants to just steamroll everybody.
No, totally. I mean,
I would say, if you, to the listeners, if your children or anyone you know are interested, check out headsuphockey.ai. That's our site where you can check out the product, and if you're interested purchasing one.
Yeah, and also feel info at Headsup Hockey or at vincerisystems.com. Sorry. So feel free to reach out to that. And then I also have my phone number there, which is I don't know how long that will stay on there, but feel free to, again, if you have a question, don't feel free to text or call if anybody's curious about getting it working or anything like that.
Cool. Well, you heard it here, guys. Heads Up Hockey with Mike and Oliver, they definitely want you to give their product a chance to not only improve your game, but to help out improve the game of everybody else around you and your teammates. So give them a shout, give them an email. You heard the email address, you heard the phone number. I'll post it up there. And the website as well. I'll make sure that gets all dropped up there as well. That's going to do it for this episode of GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock. I want to thank Mike and Oliver from Heads Up Hockey. I appreciate you guys taking the time. That's going to do it for this episode of GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, alongside Chris Greco. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure you like and subscribe on all our platforms on YouTube and on Spotify. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.